Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today I'm going to be talking about the Division 2 and kind of what the community or the audience so far is looking forward to. But I think from the perspective of a new player, the things that you can look forward to if, say, you're just joining the community, maybe you just bought the game quite recently, or maybe you're returning, or maybe you grinded everything, you put it down for a while. I think there might be a little bit of the context that you probably see that suits you as a division agent, because the game has gone through so much. There was a time where we didn't even know where we would land when it came to the continuation of this game and the future, but things have actually changed and I think are looking better. And the reason I say better is because I'm going to do a comparison also with Tom Clancy's The Division 1. That's the first game itself. So before we even jump in, one of the really cool things that I get to, do in the community is basically go around and read audience participation. And, the developers seem to be in a place where they are working on something that they want to bring forward for the game. In fact, there have been so many different, in quote, leaks, or, I would say info dumps or whatever it is, maybe real, maybe fake. I don't want to discuss them because to me, it's not necessarily relevant, honestly. I already kind of predicted that there were some things that I felt will be in the working because of this game. And I thought that there was going to be more content down the road, that it just couldn't be the end. And it turned out that, fortunately, those of us who thought so, I wasn't the only one, we were correct. So I think that's the one thing that I would say that agents can look forward to. So you're joining the division right now, depending on where you are. If you're level 0 or level 1 or anything under level 30, you're basically a beginner. It's a very interesting place to be. It will teach you all of the mechanics in the game. It will teach you all of the different things that the game has to offer. Though it will be from a different context and perspective, because the game largely has received many changes, but not too many of them affected the level 1 through 30 game. So basically, you're playing one of the very best parts of the game, because this is unique and it's new. There's no other game that does weaponry, systems, skills, and RPG shooting like the Division does. So that's one thing you can look forward to. You can look forward to that progression, and then once you hit the level 30 progression, you have to make your way up through the world tier system, which is basically a difficulty level system. Power, fantasy increase, and all of that, and then you make your way basically to level 30 full maxed out as your agent. But then that's not even still the end. The end game is that you're trying to get your agent to be as strong as possible, trying to get your agent to have the very best gear items, the very best power levels when it comes to the way you combine your builds. And then from there, if you bought the DLC for Warlords of New York, you can move straight to New York and then start to level up to level 40, which is then max level. Now, if you don't want to do the grind from level 0 to 30, you could just boost the character directly to level 40, and then you make your way to endgame, where you can now engage in some more of the difficult content, including legendary missions, including the raids at level 40. You can play the raids at level 50. This clip and footage you're seeing here is one of the 2 raids that the division has, and then basically it will take you a few hundred hours to just get your character to a place that you actually feel like your character is strong enough to pretty much put the game down. But while you're at it, your character will be able to get a whole bunch of stuff done nonetheless. Don't think that everything is always 100% gear. I know that there are people who disagree with me, but I disagree with that notion that gear is everything. I think there is a side to your play style and your skill level that pretty much allows for you to be able to leverage that. And then, it kind of has me in a place where this whole conversation takes me to a place where I have to give a side note. Now, every once in a while, you're going to see, one of the comments or a few comments that says something about the Division being a game that's not worth playing, or a game that's not worth, talking about. And I'm sure if you even look through the comment section, you're probably going to see that sentiment. Now, it's interesting because I see all these, I see comments, I see, reactions to posts from the developers. I see, basically, message boards or whatever you want to call it on Reddit that would say things like, well, the game is trash, the game is unplayable, and all of these different complaints. But one of the really interesting things is majority of these complaints come from players who have spent hundreds of hours actually playing the game. So here is my conundrum to that. It's either the game is bad and has been bad for hundreds of hours of their playtime, and they only realized that at the point they got to 500 hours in the game going, oh no, it's 100 hours in and this game is just so bad, which will probably speak to the quality of the gamer and as to what kinds of games they engage with. Or the game, some aspects of the game was good enough to actually extend them a few hundred hours of playtime, and then the other hours of the game or the other aspects of the game that they don't like seem to be, what they're equating as the entire game being bad. Either way, the person who says the Division is bad that has 4, 5, 600 hours or whatever it is, has to explain how they came about those hours of playtime if the game was actually that bad. Because in my own experience, if a game is bad, I think somewhere around 20 to 60 hours, maybe even the 100-hour mark is tolerable depending on the kind of grinder you are. I mean, some people will say, well, the game was hard to play, but I still put 100 hours in just to be respectful or just to make sure that I wasn't, being overly judgmental. And after 100 hours, I still could not make up my mind that the game was a good game. But once you crossed into that threshold of 300 hours and 400 hours and 500 hours, and you're still saying that the game is bad, then I think that there's a very challenging place that the person puts themselves in, which is why I bring this whole proposition for the game as something that players can look forward to, and even new players as well, because those of us who are still playing the game and those of us who have, kind of this perspective that, some aspects of the game can be frustrating, I think what we do is we basically continue to enjoy the parts of the game that we do enjoy, and maybe even dabble into aspects of the game that we probably will never think we would enjoy. I mean, one of the biggest interesting things that happened is, the raids. For the longest time, I just basically have never liked them. In fact, till now, it's still a challenge for me, but I happen to be able to get an invitation from a client who said, we want to change your mind about the raids. We want you to come see how raids can be done and be a fun experience. And I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, I'll give it a try. And now I've played, Iron Horse, so many times. It's quite interesting to see that sometimes I actually look forward to playing it. And that is a whole separate dimension of an aspect of the game that I didn't necessarily want to get into. In fact, till now, I still have my reservations because, like I've said in the past, it'd be nice if we had something like a matchmaking system to probably bring more people into the game to get their feet wet, to kind of understand the frustrations much more, and then they can now start doing some more investigation themselves. As much as many people may disagree and say, the matchmaking system won't work, I understand, but it will educate more people in a faster way. That's one of the best and, most accelerated way that you can actually get people into the content. And then once they hit a roadblock, then they see, okay, more is needed here. The help of experienced players are needed. The need for research, the need for a better build, the need for a microphone, all these things are prerequisites that, as much as you might try to explain it to, the general audience, it still may not necessarily hit home until they experience it themselves. So as a new player, as a new agent or a returning agent, whatever it is, you have all of these different lineup of content pieces to look forward to engage in. And even down the road, as the year is, the year 2, which basically, has spanned into a third year, is going to eventually expire because the season reruns are going on right now. We're looking forward to the content that the developers are going to be bringing. Now, I'm not here going to sit down and say, oh, it's going to be some groundbreaking, exciting content. I don't think that that's going to be the case, but at least it's going to provide the community something to continue to do. And I think maybe the developers will be able to gauge what they want the future of the game to look like. It may be that the future that they're probably going to be looking forward to is a future that, extends to another game, or maybe a future that perhaps even extends to another year of content. Who knows? But this is a really interesting time to join the Division community. And as a new player, if you're in and you're a little overwhelmed, you can basically ask questions in comment sections of videos. You can put in video requests. I do them a lot, actually. If you put a video request and I see it and I feel like it's pertinent enough to or warrants a video, I will most likely talk about those topics or those issues. You can also join clans. You can get on Discord, and you can just network around the community, because a lot of the folk that play the Division are grounded and solid folk. I don't know if you're going to find, many other grounded communities like the Division. Yes, online on the internet, we're usually at each other's throats, but at the end of the day, when you take it down to the basic level, there are some really cool folk out here who enjoy this game and will be happy to get you in and basically, set you up for what's to come in the future. So thank you very much for listening to the video. I appreciate your time and audience. Looking forward to continue to grinding this game. I'm meeting new people as I'm just, always running around and matchmaking. That's kind of my deal. I really enjoy it. And, if you need any help to, experience any of the content, especially the raids, I think you can basically hit up the LCN clan. They have a Discord server. Ask in the comment section. I probably put a link or whatever it is. There's also another Discord server that belongs to another YouTuber here, Identity. I have a Discord server as well, which you can use it to find people. I mean, that's what I set it up for anyways. It's just a resource to be able to find agents to help you out so that you can get this journey, or at least make it a much more refreshing one, you know, in your perspective anyways. Talk to you guys in another video. Take it easy. Peace out.